Here we go. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Chat. Can you hear me? Put dubs in the chat if y'all can hear me. And
Dubs.
and y'all will figure out why I'm y'all should probably figure out why I'm wearing this hat.
You're not wearing anything. I don't see anything.
Well, they can't hear you right now because we're on a different
Uh,
screen, but might as well bring you. Oh, Rage and Knuckles with the dub thing. Might as well bring you on because you're probably thinking, "Are you talking to yourself?" Not exactly. Here we are. Nino Sports Network, everybody, is back on the show. If you guys remember, back in the Martinsville episode, he was on the show. Took a little bit of a hiatus, and he has returned. So, what's up, man?
yep. Not much, man. Last time I was on as a guest on your pod, Denny Hamlin won. Hey, go figure again. Denny Hamlin wins again, and I'm back on the pod. Hey.
Denny Hamlin. You might be a Denny Hamlin, like magnet.
I'm not. I'm deaf. I used to be a big hater, so I don't hate him like that anymore. I'm like, it's no point. I still have some drivers I don't like, but hey, that's for another day.
That's real. That's real. I am a little bit under the weather, guys, so if I sound a little funky, that's why. I'm a little bit under the weather, have been for the past few days. But, yeah. So, Gateway, officially in the books. Of course, we're going to talk about each playoff driver. We'll go over a little bit of the Xfinity Series playoff grid. Of course, we'll have our race weekend rankings. And, yeah. But overall, let's look at the chat real quick. Rage and Knuckles, Joshua 824 Racing, appreciate y'all. Going to be yet another week of everyone begging and pleading with NASCAR to fix the car. NASCAR continues to do nothing. Joshua, I'll ask you this. What can NASCAR do literally in the span of 1 week to fix the car?
That's
What
the
can
logic.
Like, here's my thing. And I get it. We want changes to the car, even though we've actually had multiple changes to this car already, but we just don't like to acknowledge those. But anyway, mostly because those changes barely work. But I get it. But again, what can NASCAR realistically do from now until 6 days at Bristol to drastically improve the racing or to clean up the dirty air? Like, I get it. The racing has been bad. I acknowledge the racing has been bad. I've acknowledged it, whether it's on this show, whether it's on No Cautions Given. I have, by the way, No Cautions Given. I got an interesting episode coming in the future. It's already recorded. Just got to edit it. But what can NASCAR realistically do to fix the car in less than a week? Because I'm not even going to talk about Sunday. Because really, they start on-track action anywhere from Friday to Saturday. So what can NASCAR realistically do? Like Kevin, maybe I'm wrong, but what can they realistically do to fix it in that span of time?
You have an Owen. You can't do anything in a span of a few days. It takes an entire off season, and then yet, we're already what? We're gonna go 4 years into this car. Well, yeah, 22, 23, 24, fifth year next season. We still haven't done any changes to the car, so I don't think we're gonna get any changes not even in the off season. To be honest with you, first of all, we don't even have testing, so it's like it's already like throw out that the window too. So yeah.
Yeah, like Rage, I see put in the chat here, up the horsepower might fix the racing. They could do it overnight. If they could do it overnight, wouldn't they have done it already?
Exactly.
Like, this idea of NASCAR can just do whatever they want at the snap of their fingers, which is like, do you really think NASCAR doesn't know the fact that the on-track product hasn't been good? I think they see that. They see everyone complaining about that. And I said this on one of my No Cautions Givens, where NASCAR themselves, they acknowledge that the next-gen car has opportunities, because you're never going to hear the sanctioning body say that the car sucks. That is never going to happen. That'll be like if the CEO of a company says, my product is terrible. You're never going to get that. If you guys were the CEO of NASCAR, you guys would never say that, because that is terrible. That's a terrible business decision.
Could I say something real quick? I still think that we should have never gotten rid of the Gen 6, because me personally, bro, the Gen 6, people complain about it, but it was actually pretty good competition in Gen 6. Yes, the big teams got, the big, large of the pie, but the Gen 6 it was good, even though it ran its course. But I'm going to throw one back to the new car. The problem with the new car is it's a level playing field. That's what people don't get either.
Well, we can talk about the Gen 6 car, in my opinion. The Gen 6 is rose-colored glasses. That car it had one good year, and every other year was either mid or bad. So,
Hmm.
but then again, I said this before, when it comes to cars, you got to have a schedule that matches the car. If
Hmm.
we had the 2016, 2017, even the 2018 schedule with this car, we wouldn't have as much complaining because we were filled with mile and a halves and tracks that suited this car.
Hmm.
Case in point, if we had the Gen 6 car with this schedule, road courses, short tracks, very diverse, even though the last few years the short tracks of the Gen 6 weren't really that great. But anyway, we see that car with this schedule would work. So it's like, if you swap this car with the previous schedule and just reverse, then it would work. But
100%.
again, Gen 6, I'm not a big fan of the car. I mean, yeah, there were a few good races here and there, but most of the races, honestly, were just terrible. Like, yes, 2014 was good. 2013 was forgettable. 2015 was one of the worst years in NASCAR history. 2016, okay.
Oh,
20,
wait. Hold on. Before you say 2015, are you saying that because you don't like Kyle Busch,
no, I
or?
don't have a problem with Kyle Busch. I don't got a problem.
I'm just throwing that out there because he came back and ended up winning the championship after he was hurt.
I don't got a problem. Listen, I am someone who I do not let my bias get in the way with me making, an opinion. Like when it comes to
Yeah.
race weekend ranking, I'm pretty sure when Larson won Bristol earlier this year, I have that race in the F tier. And I'm a Larson fan, and I have that race in the F tier.
Yeah, I thought it was wonderful to take on that because that race was just snooze fest.
Exactly. But, I mean, the problem, the Gen 6 has the same car as the next gen. Dirty air is a huge problem. The
Hmm.
only difference is the next gen, like you mentioned, everyone is equal. So you don't have enough variables to maybe break out of it. Like the Gen 6 is the part of dirty air where everyone is spread out by like 20 seconds.
Yep.
This is where you have dirty air, but everyone is spread out by like 3/10. So it's the next gen, I'll say, is a more frustrating car because it's like they're so close but so far at the same time. The
Yep.
Gen 6, they were just spread out. It was a snoozer. Let's see here. Aside from the road racing, the Gen 6 wasn't that good. This is from Raging Knuckles and Joshua 8824 Racing. Unfortunately, NASCAR thinks it's too expensive. Excuses. I mean, they did it already in 2022 when they upped it
Yep.
from 550 to 670. And they've said multiple times that they're willing to up it when electrification comes in. So I still don't even buy the whole, horsepower is more expensive excuse because NASCAR has actually, if you pay attention, been getting away from that.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
the problem is NASCAR themselves does what they need to say. Again, you're never going to hear them say that the product is bad. But what the problem is that NASCAR media, NASCAR owned media, they're the ones who are always like, the car is great, it's phenomenal. I mean, just look at what Kyle Petty said, a couple weeks ago. They're the ones that come out and say that this car is phenomenal, it's amazing. But because they represent NASCAR,
Of course.
we're going to associate what they say with what NASCAR says. It'd be like if I'm going to say something radical and I'm wearing a Daily Downforce t-shirt, you're going to associate with what I say as that's what the Daily Downforce says. When maybe
100%.
that's not the truth or it is. But that's the case. If you have someone who represents a brand and they say something, you're going to associate what they say with what the brand thinks.
100%. Yep.
They need to grow a spine. Okay, Joshua, let me ask you this, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful or nothing, but what is your plan? Again, you have 5 days to make a change to this next gen car. What is your plan? What is the plan in a 5-day span to turn Bristol from a snoozer to what we had in 2021, for example? What is that plan? Because here's the thing with me. I never like unless when it comes to Indianapolis Colts and we're going to the Super Bowl, but
No, you're not. Stop.
but overall, I never like to jump to conclusions like that. I like to sit back, think about everything, and then I come with my answer, my solution, everything. So that's why I say, what is the solution? What is the solution? Again, I'm not talking about for 26 and beyond. I'm talking if we are going off the concept of another week, NASCAR does something to the car. What can they do in 1 week's time to make this a phenomenal race car? That is my answer. That's my question, excuse me.
Oof.
All right, let's, if you could tell, I'm kind of all over the place again. Sick. I mean, they're bringing a softer tire to Bristol, but that's who knows what'll happen. That is a Goodyear solution. I am not talking about Goodyear. That is Goodyear. Remember how we've been saying for the past year or so, we're asking Goodyear to bail out NASCAR? Don't put Goodyear to the equation. What NASCAR could do with the actual car. Again,
it could be worse. We could add Pirelli tires to a NASCAR Cup car, and then we're gonna hear more complaints. That's just me, guys. That's just me. You know, you guys complain about Goodyear, but there's other companies that are worse, like Pirelli.
Firestone is the best, but anyway. All right, so kind of like what we did last week with Darlington. We're going to go over every playoff driver, and then we're going to go through the playoff standings and see.
Yes, I was just going to ask you, do you have the updated sheet? Because obviously not updated yet.
I do not.
Okay.
But we're just going to go over every driver in terms of where they finished first, and then we'll go to the actual sheet whenever I find it. All right. Denny Hamlin obviously got the win.
Yep.
Denny, I've said it before, he ages like a fine wine, 5th win of the season. He's better under new circumstances. I feel like when Denny gets complacent, that's when he starts to teeter off. I mean, you see that. When he got his crew chief in 2016, I think it was not Chris Gabehart. It was, I forgot his name from previously, but won 4 races, made the round of 8. 2019, won 6 races, made the final 4. This year, 5 races, one of the championship favorites. Denny is someone who does well under new circumstances. And
exactly.
He's not like a Jimmy Johnson or Kyle Busch or even to an extent a Martin Truex Jr., where he kind of falls off as he gets older. Denny is more like Kevin Harvick. He doesn't really lose an edge. Yes, Harvick went winless in his last year. He only won 2 races in his final 3 years, but you can put that more on Stewart-Haas rather than Kevin Harvick, in my opinion. Because when Harvick had chances to win, he took them, and obviously in 2022, he won 2 races back-to-back. And that's with a dying Stewart-Haas team. So, Denny is like Harvick. He ages like a fine wine, and he gets better and better. And
yep.
I think Denny is the championship favorite. I don't know how you could say maybe Briscoe, which he's second, but besides those two, I want
to say something that it's different. That I know you're gonna say I'm crazy. You know why Denny is so good in every single car? Because he can adapt to like the new norm.
That's true. Well, even then, the first year of the next gen with Denny wasn't that great. He was very inconsistent. I remember that. But yeah, that's true. I mean, I think he won twice that year.
Yep.
He won 3 times if it wasn't for that Pocono DQ. But yeah, Denny Hamlin, I mean, he's a championship favorite. 5 wins this year. A lot of people wrote him off, thinking he would have retired, no sponsor. But here we are, 5th win of the year. Chase Briscoe. He's probably the second championship favorite after Hamlin. I mean, kind of ended the regular season very strong. Won Darlington in dominating fashion. Was running up front at Gateway all day long.
Yep.
And 2 different tracks. We know he's good at Darlington. But Gateway, he could have rested. He could have just said, you know what, I'm going to take my foot off the gas. I'm locked in. I'm just going to test some things out. No, that 19 was fast. It's going to be all day long.
You want to know what it is too, though? I think I said it last year too, before the whole JGR thing that he's going to go to JGR. I always said that you put this man in better equipment, he's going to do the job.
Yeah, he's not a bad driver. I mean, again, when people try to use his stint at Stewart-Haas against him, I'm always like, I mean, did anyone do anything at SHR?
Exactly. That's what people don't understand either. Like nobody did anything at SHR after 2020.
Here's the thing. from 2021 to 2023, well, technically 2024. From that span, Chase Briscoe's first year in Cup was 2021, and then Stuart Haas's last year was last year.
Mm-hmm.
He and Harvick won the same amount of races.
Yep.
But we like to say that, oh, I don't know about Briscoe because of his Stuart Haas did. Who did anything at SHR? We don't use the Stuart Haas stint against Almirola,
Nope.
Gregson, Harvick. Nobody. Because
Not
the
even,
team
yeah,
was dying. Not even Boyer.
exactly. Not even Boyer. I would say maybe Custer at 1 year, his rookie year, but that's about it.
Yeah, but I mean... But yeah, Briscoe, great driver. Took him a little bit of time again. Still my biggest concern with Briscoe is just James Small. If he's really that, I don't think he's that consistent. I mean, they're very feast or famine. They're either one of the best in the field or they just disappear. The last 2 weeks, they've been one of the best in the field. Can they hold on to that for the rest of the season? That's my question.
Another thing going back to Jamie, I call him Jamie Smalls just to be funny, by the way. I think him having Briscoe on board is the best thing that could have happened to him. I don't know if you went back last year when he made a smart comment about Truex not being on the garage area, in the garage in the shop as much, versus now obviously now Briscoe's going to be at the shop most of the time, so that could another benefit James Smalls as well.
That's true. Chase Elliott kind of ran nowhere for much of the day, and then a little bit of the strategy worked his way back inside the top 5, and surprisingly, he stayed there. Yeah, dirty air, I know, equal, blah blah blah, but you still gotta drive the car.
Yep.
And Chase Elliott comes home with a 3rd place finish. I've always said I have Chase Elliott making my final 4, and my thing is, when it comes down to crunch time and collecting points and running up front, who are you gonna pick over Chase Elliott? Because remember, in the final 4, one guy is guaranteed to make it on points, and out of everyone, in terms of like everyone in the field, if all of them were to make the round of 8, I trust Chase Elliott, or whoever makes the round of 8, I trust Chase Elliott the most to get those points necessary and run up front consistently to make the final 4. And days like this show it, a 3rd place run.
I don't even have him in my final 4, which is crazy enough.
Ryan Blaney, next one, could have won this race, should have won this race last year, of course, and kind of had a, wild race. Obviously got spun out by Larson, worked his way through the field, used some strategy to help him, but that 12th, we kind of knew the Penske cars were going to be decent at Gateway. I mean, you can see here Logano, he finished top 5 as well, so
Yep.
2 top 5s for Penske, kind of what we expected, and yeah, I mean, I really don't have much to say about those two. It looks like they're going to be set going into the next round. I did have Joey eliminated this round, but I always said it was going to come down to Gateway, whether he advanced or not. And a really good run by Joey. Led laps, was running top 5 for much of the day. He did what he had to do at the best track for him in this round. So give credit to Joey.
Exactly.
Christopher,
That's why he's a champion. Sorry to cut you off for one. That's why he's a champion. People don't like the playoffs, but he manipulates the playoffs. Like when it's time to go, it's time to go. That's where you see Joey Logano start going, getting top 10s, getting top 5s, winning a race. The win you get in.
Yeah, I'll say this about Joey. We could talk about the playoffs however we want, but you still have to play the game, which is why besides last year, which that's a rant for another day, but you still have to play the game. Logano does that better than any other driver, and you gotta give credit to him for that. Yes, the overall season may not be the best, but when it comes down to it, you still have to do what you have to do in these races. Play the strategy. You play the strategy, running up front when you need to run up front, and Joey does that. You can't get mad at him for it.
100%.
Christopher Bell, Christopher Bell, kind of just where he's been for most of the year. We like to talk about Chase Elliott. Doesn't really have winning speed. I've said it all year. After those 3 in a row, Bell has been nowhere. Yeah, he got a top 10, but that's where he's been for much of the year, just running just outside the top 5, inside the top 10. That 20 team, I don't see them as a championship favorite. Yeah, they're going to make it to the round of 12 because they have all the playoff points from earlier in the season. But again, if you look at the laps led among all the 16 drivers, Bell is, I think, 11th. He's behind guys like Logano, Cindric, SVG. And I've never bought the Bell hype this year. Again, after, like, again, he hasn't won since March. And I just haven't seen that spark out of the 20. Dover, maybe he was running up front. But other than that, I mean,
He's been quiet since he won that 3 races in a row.
yeah, like, I know Bell can get it done. But again, I'm a guy, I need to see it to believe it. And right now, I need to see Bell perform to believe it. Because right now, I don't think he's a championship guy.
100%.
Bubba Wallace. Shout out to Bubba Wallace. He's had a really good playoffs so far. Was running up front of Darlington. He led some laps, I believe. Led laps here at Gateway.
And got a stage point.
Got
a stage win, I mean.
Yep, that is true. And that 23, I believe Raging Knuckles said it here. Shout out to Bubba Wallace as well. 4th in points and ran well all day with a stage win. Exactly. I mean, he ran up front all day long, kind of living up to what we know Bubba Wallace can be. Not a championship contender, not even really not even a round of 4 guy, but someone who can run top 10, top 5, lead laps, and occasionally win. This year, he has been doing that, and he's had a pretty good start to these playoffs, all things considered. Now, do I think he's going to make the Final 4? No. Do I think he's going to make the round of 8? I predict him to make the round of 8, but, maybe he will, maybe he won't, but he's doing what he has to do.
I'm not saying he's going to make the Final 4, but if he makes the round of 8, anything can happen, especially at Talladega.
Exactly. William Byron next on the list. I thought that 20... I mean, here's the thing. I did not expect a lot out of Hendrick Motorsports this week because it's Gateway and there's not really, you can't, this isn't a good track for HMS. Matter of fact, the fact that they had three drivers finish at the top 12, I think is a win for that organization. And one guy in the top 3. Because Byron, he was teetering around the top 10, not really a factor. Larson, he was up there leading laps, and then just some strategy. Of course, he had the diffuser damage at the end, so, kind of back-to-back weeks where Larson had really good top 5 speed, and, damage just took him out of that. He hasn't been getting the finishes he deserved. Of course, I'm a Larson fan. I would like him to finally get a top 5, but at least... if there's any silver lining from Kyle Larson fans, like you and myself, is he's finally showing winning speed again. Something we haven't really seen. We've seen in sporadics during the summer, like in the Brickyard, for example, but it feels like that 5 has really just meandered off for most of the summer, but Daytona, he could have won. Darlington, he was leading laps. Gateway, he led laps. So that 5 car going into Bristol, he has had very good speed. So that 5 car, while they're not getting the finishes they deserve, they have the speed that we're accustomed to seeing for that 5.
That started, and for me, it started that started since the Coke 600 weekend when he did the double. That's when it started the trend, like, what's going on here with Kyle Larson?
Tyler Reddick next up. I was expecting a little more out of Reddick. This is a solid track for the 45. I thought they would do a little bit more. I'm not sure exactly what happened throughout the run, I saw him in the top 10 a little bit, but not much. 16th place finish. Kind of disappointing after Darlington, where he almost won that race. So they're going to Bristol. It's a 50-50 track for Reddick, but, I mean, 16th. 16th would have been good last week when felt like the entire field was running into issues, but 16th when most of the playoff guys finished in the top 10, not great for the 45. Austin Dillon, I thought that number 3, I thought this was a sneaky good track for Dillon. He finished 10th here last year. This is one of, this round was interesting because he had a couple top 10s here and at Bristol, so I figured that, Dillon could sneak his way through, and he was around there. There were times he was running in the top 10, but 18th place run, you would have liked to see a little more out of the 3, given that they were already starting these playoffs behind the 8 ball.
Yep. I honestly, I don't expect much from Austin Dillon, but in this round particular, like, there's some, like I said, there's some racetracks in this round that kind of, like, suits him a little bit, that could make him sneak into the next round. But other than that, I don't see him going to the next round.
Yeah, neither do I. Another driver I don't see going to the next round is Austin Cindric. The defending winner obviously did not defend his win. And that 2 car, just, again, just he really was nowhere. Wasn't top 10, wasn't top 5, which is kind of crazy considering last year he was running top 10,
Yep.
was running top 5. Obviously got the win after Blaney ran out of fuel. But here, he was nowhere. Running outside the top 10, running outside the top 15 for much of the race, and 19th place finish, kind of where he ran, which, shocking, really surprised me. So, disappointing result for Austin Cindric, and when we look at the playoff standings, we'll see how it affects him, but
I haven't updated the points, by the way. I have the points updated here whenever we talk about it.
Where did you get it on? Twitter?
On the app, NASCAR app.
Oh, okay.
They already updated
already?
it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, Ross Chastain. Well, we'll go to. Thankfully, we're on the NASCAR app right now. Ross Chastain. Nicholas said in the chat, I expected Ross to do much better. I mean, yeah, he qualified top 5. I thought he'd run top 5 for much of the day, but not a good day really for these. Honestly, I think these are the last. Well, Josh Berry at the bottom, but I mean, there's really nothing else to say about Josh Berry. He crashed, must win. Nothing really to say much about there. But
with Ross, unfortunately, the Chevys don't run good here. Other than that one Kyle Busch win, the last 3 years, the Chevys have not done well here.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Toyota, Ford has won twice. Chevy, obviously, that Kyle Busch win, and then Hamlin this year.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, Chastain didn't run well. SVG, he was running top 20, but then ran into a bunch of issues. Of course, he got spun, got loose, damaged, really couldn't recover. And then Alex Bowman, another disappointing run, 26th place finish. Going to need a win at Bristol, a track that he was running well at in the spring before, I think it was an engine or tire stretch. Something happened to that 48 at the spring race. But at least he's going to a good track to where he could hopefully make a comeback. And then, like we mentioned, Josh Berry, I mean, just wrecked again in stage 1. Nothing really he could have done. And now he's going into Bristol, must win.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, unfortunately, and I already had him out going into the playoffs, like the first elimination, but
So you said that they're updated, right?
Yes, I just see it now because I see Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe have like the checker flag on the, like the cutoff since they won their race.
Just had to refresh. Gotcha. All right, well, thankfully I got it up. Shout out to you, Kevin, because I was like, hopefully they're updated. All right, Hamlin, Briscoe, locked in. Larson, plus 60. He has to start the race and he'll be locked in.
Yep.
Bubba, plus 50. More or less, he is locked in. Blaney, Byron, even to an extent Reddick. Really, everyone who's like really Bell on up is basically locked in.
Yep.
Obviously, like Byron, Reddick, and Bell, they can't afford to, wreck in stage
As
1.
long as they don't wreck early, they're fine.
Exactly. They should be okay. Chase plus 28. It's a good buffer. It's not the best buffer in the world for him, but it's manageable. As is plus 21 with Logano, Ross Chastain plus 19, and Cindric plus 11. So I would say if we had to separate everyone who is above the cut line.
Yeah.
Obviously, Hamlin and Briscoe, locked in. Then you got Larson, Bubba, and Blaney. I'd say they're virtually locked in. Then Byron, Reddick, Bell are safe. They are safe. Again, like you mentioned, as long as they don't run into issues and they don't wreck early on, they should move on.
Mm-hmm.
Chase and Logano, they should be fine. They still need to show up. Run top 10, run top 15 to really lock it down. But they should be fine.
Yep.
Then you got Chastain and Cindric. Plus 19, plus 11. It's a decent cushion. But you don't, you're sweating a little bit. Because, especially for Cindric, I mean, that's a stage win from Austin Dillon, SVG, Bowman, from Austin Dillon. And that 11 points is now 1.
Yep.
So, Cindric and Chastain, they're okay. They're not great. They're okay. Then we'll go to the bottom. I mean, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but Austin Dillon could be better, could be worse. Again, I mean, Austin Dillon wins a stage and Cindric doesn't, doesn't get stage points. That 11-point deficit is now a 1-point deficit.
Yep.
SVG plus 15.
Minus 15.
Yeah, minus 15. Sorry about that. But SVG is weird because 15 points for SVG feels like 30. Because Bristol, he didn't get a lot of laps last year because he DNF'd early on. So he's kind of going to Bristol for the first time again. Kind of, sort of. So, yes, a 15-point cushion doesn't, or excuse me, a 15-point deficit doesn't seem like a lot. But given his lack of experience at ovals, it's easier said than done.
Yep. If he somehow manages to get out of this round, going into the next, I had him going into the next round until Darlington, until what happened at Darlington, until that whole strategy at Darlington played out terribly on their part. But I would have had him going into the next round. But now, I think if somebody wrecks, that's the only way he gets it.
Bowman minus 35, Berry minus 45. These guys got to win. There's no other way to describe it. Bowman's got to win. Bristol's a good track for him, so I wouldn't be surprised if he won. Even though he hasn't won this year, but at least it's a good... If there's any track to go and must win, Bristol is a good one for Bowman to do that. And then Josh Berry, at this point, he just needs to survive stage 1. Forget winning the race. Just survive the first stage.
Survive stage 1, do a little readjustment, and then go from there.
If you had to... Let me ask you this. If you had to pick one guy from the bottom to make it, and one guy on the top to be eliminated, who would you pick?
You know, it's funny enough. I'm going to swap the Trackhouse guys.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I don't think Cindric is not going to be eliminated for sure. I still think, I know this is like totally the exact opposite. I think he's on the hot seat from behind the scenes because obviously what happened to his dad. That's why I think Cindric is going to be on the A-ball, like trying to survive. Ross hasn't been consistent all season long either. So let's not beat around the bush. Besides that win at the Coke 600, to me, Ross, and I like Ross. I don't like Ross. I like Ross. He hasn't shown anything this year.
If I had to choose, I would honestly say I go Bowman. I think Bowman can win this race at Bristol. Hendrick is always really good here at the half mile. I think that Larson and Byron should be fine. Elliott, in theory, should be fine. So I think they're going to try to prioritize Bowman a little bit more than the other three. So I think Bowman has the capability to win this race. And I would say Cindric. I mean, I did a video earlier, my playoff predictions, and Cindric has not had the greatest run at Bristol. Top 15, but especially if Bowman wins and this cut line goes down, and then you talk about a battle between Cindric versus Chastain, Logano, or Elliott, I'd take these three guys over Cindric any day. Mm-hmm. So I would say Bowman to win and Cindric to be eliminated.
Okay. I would like to see that. I mean, I wouldn't mind. It's more like the same thing. Like Bowman needs to win. He's driving the HMS car. Let's be realistic here. And he hasn't won a race yet. That'll be a great, way to win your first race of the season, knowing your season's on the line.
Exactly. So that is our updated playoff. Now, actually, before we move on, because we're going to briefly go over the Xfinity playoffs, do you think this stays the same? Now, obviously, before the question was, if something were to change, what would you think? Now I'm asking you another one. Do you think this will stay the same, or will it change?
What? What do you mean by changing? Like the standings?
Yes, the standings. Standings.
I think we're going to see a little change. I think the points are going to be going into a big factor here. The same thing, like the drivers, they're like from 8 to 10, I would say. Maybe, 8. No, not even. Because it's still I would say from 6 to 12. Don't wreck. As long as you don't wreck from 6 to 12 seedings, you'll be okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think this is going to mostly stay the same. I mean, again, the only way I see Cindric getting eliminated at this point is if one of these guys wins, and then that cut line goes down to him, Chastain, Logano. But if it doesn't, and one of these guys doesn't win, I mean, I trust Cindric to point his
And
way
we've
more
seen it
than Dylan
before,
SVG.
and we've seen this before though. Sorry to cut you off, because Logano had a great 30 point cushion 2 years ago, eliminated already, but eliminated because into a big wreck in like I would say within like 50 laps within the race.
Exactly. All right, I want to briefly touch on the Xfinity playoffs because those have just started. Connor Zillage, of course, got his 9th win at Gateway. The kid is a demon. We already know this. So here are the standings for the Xfinity Series playoffs. We'll just briefly go over them. Zillage plus 59, Allgaier plus 30, Sam Mayer plus 11, Jesse Love plus 8, tied with Brandon Jones, who's also plus 8, Sammy Smith plus 4, Nick Sanchez plus 1, Carson Quapple and Taylor Gray are both tied at the cut line, but Quapple with the tiebreaker. Sheldon Creed minus 2, Harrison Burton minus 3, and then Austin Hill is minus 5 because, of course, he got suspended and forfeited all his playoff points.
Yep.
Now, I'll ask you this. Because I'm not as, experienced with the Xfinity guys as much as the Cup guys, though I already know, who is the...
That's for me more. I dig into Xfinity more, so you can ask me those questions, yes.
All right, so, if you had to pick one guy who, out of all these 4, well, I feel like that answer's easy, but who would you say out of the guys below has the best chance of making it to the next round? And out of these 8, who has the best chance of getting eliminated?
Mine is Austin Hill because I think Austin Hill is going to do it no matter what. I really think this rookie sensation kid's going to get his win. Carson Quapple will go above.
Okay. Gotcha. I mean, we know Zillage and Allgaier, they should be fine. Sam Mayer. I've been thinking about this for a lot of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He is probably, out of all these guys, my dark horse. Because he is running top 5 for much of the year. I mean, he was in contention for the regular season championship with Allgaier and Zillage for most of the year. And he's only got 1 win. He's only got 1 win. So keep an eye on that 41. Consistency was always an issue with Sam Mayer. This year, he's cleaned that up. While he doesn't have the raw winning speed he did at JRM, he's cleaned up the consistency. So keep an eye on that 41.
100%.
All right, let's move on to our race weekend rankings. We only got 2 races to go over this week. We got the Xfinity and the Cup race. And I'm going to put the Xfinity race at number 2. I mean, there was a lot of moments. Of course, you had the big one that took out Jeb Burton for the win. You had a couple extra moments. But, I mean, other than that, it was pretty much Connor Zillage domination.
Yep,
won the
basically.
pole, swept the stages. No one was really in contention, got his 9th win of the year. I always say I appreciate dominance in the moment, but I also acknowledge that it can be kind of dull because typically domination means the racing sucks.
But let's be real here. You know what makes it so good about...
Don't be fake.
The reason why it makes it so special for this kid just coming in here, just doing this every single week, he's doing it now on ovals. I remember that question going into this year. How he's going to be able to handle the whole ovals. And I think he really did shut up the haters.
Oh, yeah, easily. I mean, 9 wins on the year. I think only 3 of them are on road courses. So that should tell you everything.
Yeah.
And then the Cup race output at number 1 wasn't a barn burner. Dirty air, of course, was a factor. But at least tires seemed to matter. Like you saw Larson, stage 1, he went from, 11th to 2nd with, 3 or 4 laps to go on new tires.
Yep.
You saw different tire strategy, mix the field up a bit when people realized, oh, tires matter. So that was something nice that was added to the race. Well, yes, dirty air was annoying. It wasn't Darlington annoying, where you weren't leading by just 3-4 tenths and you just had to aero block all the time. At least you were able to pull away if you had a fast enough car. So I appreciate that. It wasn't to the extent of Darlington, and tires also mattered. So I'll put it number 1. Moving on to the 2025 tier list. This tier list is very big. It's very long. But I will cut to the chase. I don't think any of these races were particularly special. So they'll go both into the C tier.
Okay.
Would you put them anywhere else?
I mean, you get what you, no, honestly, no, because you get what you get at Gateway every single year.
Yeah, so I always say this, S tier, cream of the crop. A tier, very good. B, good, not great. C, forgettable. D, bad. F, I don't even want to speak about that race ever again. And again, Larson fan, look what's here. Worst cup race of the year. And I'm a Larson fan, so no one can say anything.
I say C though, because again, like, yeah, like you get what you get at Gateway, which is not a bad thing though. It's not a bad thing. Like, it's really not a bad thing. It's like,
Yeah.
don't get it twisted. Like, it's actually a good thing because Gateway, you don't know what you're gonna get. I mean, you get what you're gonna get. Like, it's not gonna be a boring race, but it's not gonna be your like, oh my God, this is a great race. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly. So there we go. That is the 2025 race weekend rankings tier list so far, with only a few weeks left to go. And yeah,
I can't believe the season's going by so fast. We're already about to go literally to the round of 12, like after this weekend coming up.
exactly. Now, before we go, you guys already know what time it is. You guys see his. You guys see, here. Look, I need the pen. Right. No, this way. Right. No, right here. Yeah, right here. You see underneath his webcam, his YouTube channel. So everyone, please, for me and for Kevin, head over to Nino Sports Network, subscribe to his channel. While you're at it, Kevin, thanks for coming on. And before I give you the floor, I have to talk some smack because isn't it funny how Indiana Jones himself, as soon as he gets in the Colts, gives us our first week 1 win in 12 years, and your Giants put up what? 6 points?
Hey, listen, before you say any, it's only the Miami Dolphins, okay? Like, you live in South Florida, I live in South Florida. You know the hype with the Dolphins fans. You know how it is. It's nothing special. Can you do it every single week? Absolutely not.
Well, to be fair, I actually had the Colts losing this game, just because, I understand it's Daniel Jones, but listen, remember I said before, I try not to be overly biased when it comes to analysis. No, when it comes to these guys, no, I will be biased. Colts are going to the Super Bowl. Indiana Jones is going to lead us to the promised land. 17-0. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Don't worry, when Jackson Dart eventually fails and he comes to the Colts and he looks like a god, we're going to have the same conversation in like 15 years, 10 years.
Oh, man.
Oh, but other than that, I mean, now the floor is yours.
All right, so what are we talking about?
Oh, no, the floor is yours. Talk about yourself,
Well, I've been on a little hiatus break. Mental stuff happened, but we're back on, Nino Sports Network. Gonna give you guys a video every single week. Oh, I do, soccer, football. I'm trying to get back to football too, because, obviously football's back. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna give you guys every single week, my YouTube channel, Nino Sports Network. I have my Instagram page, Nino Sports Network as well. And then my personal page, THFC Kev. So it's like I'm just I'm over the place.
Beautiful. That's all good. Again, guys, Nino Sports Network. Go check them out. That's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please.
Butterbean.
Don't
forget.
Please like this stream. Subscribe to the Daily Downforce YouTube channel. That helps me out a ton. Again, I got a No Cautions Given, a special edition of No Cautions Given coming out soon. That is in the editing bay, just working out that, and I'll get that out to you guys as soon as possible. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will see you in the next video.
Peace.